Shut up and sit down.
It's a 2016 Modern Taiwan competition run by InWin. We also have EKW HyperX, Bits Power, GeForce Garage, Intel. So what we have here is you guys will be watching this as we walk around. They've already entered the competition about an hour and a half. It's about 10 a.m. Taiwan time, and these guys have already been hard at work. You can hear all the noise in the background, probably. These guys are cutting up and marking, and some of these guys have already got the cases already all tore apart. They've really been hitting it hard, and it's exciting to see. Like I said, they've got people from all over the world here, and you're going to see it set up. There's going to be different tables set up, and that's where those guys are at. We'll walk around. They even have them tagged out, and we'll try and point it out. We go over to here. We have BS Mods from the USA. And it looks like these guys taking it apart. Looks like they're screwing it off there. They've already got a metal cut out. Looks like they've got it laid out. They got their front panels. Looks like they're actually going to be doing a whole new front panel. Maybe some side panels. A lot of this is all popping together, and I think they've either might have used some screws or they're taking anything apart that they can screw out. And it looks like they've got things pretty under control on that side. Looks like this is aluminum, though. Yeah, it is aluminum that they'll be using for their panels there. They have marked on their front. They have two sides fronts. So it looks like they're going to be redoing it quite a bit. Next up on the list is Team Mongoose. Team Mongoose is also from the USA. And it looks like these guys, same thing. I don't know if they're using aluminum or they might be using steel, but they've got the case pretty well tore apart. They've got two guys going at the same time. So that's a good idea to be able to split them up that way. You can get a lot more done in a little short of time. So one guy's working on the motherboard, putting that in together. That delicate part, dropping the CPU in there. So now we're walking a little farther down the aisles. So next up, in the middle, we get one of the foreign teams. We got foreign teams in the middle, and as we go back, the two U.S. teams were up in the front. So as we're going back, we'll see more of the other teams that we have. As we were talking earlier, we got a couple of guys here. They're talking about how to use some of the products. It looks like a power nimbler, cutting it up. Giving each other tools and advices on what to do and what they're doing at. So we have one of the other teams. Team Let Me Help, I guess. As you can see, they're starting off with doing cabling. So that's quite of interest at this point in time. Because it looks like most of the other teams are already doing is actually attacking the case parts. So that's something you really can't rush. I mean, when you're working on that part of the cabling and the sleeving and stuff, no matter how good you are or how much of a professional you think you are, you just can't rush and get a good outcome of that. The next gentleman in the background, looks like he's using vinyl, and he is actually got... he's actually going to be printing it out. That's what he's going to be doing. So he might be using that for templates. Are you using this for templates to cut out with?
Yeah. Normally with some of those, I'll cut and take the inner out, lay it on, then get a bit of spray paint, blow it over, pull the sticker off, and then I've got an outline of what I need to cut. Really quite simple.
What a great idea, huh, guys? If you haven't thought about it, it's great. I mean, you got the little portable cutter here.
Yeah. They seem to be screwed up the vinyl a little bit.
Yeah, well, but it's better than trying to do it all by hand.
Oh, God, yeah. I've gone past doing it by hand a long time ago now. Why waste your time doing that when you can get the machine to do it for you? And then you can spend all your time doing what you do best, you know?
Exactly, because it's right now it's all about time. So, I mean, this machine's going to go through, cut it, and do it, and maybe, even if it's 3 or 4 minutes if it does it. If you had to do it by hand...
And that would drive me mad. It'd make my OCD overtime.
So that's a great tip, guys. I mean, you don't have to be in a rush to do it. Do it at home. I've got the same thing. I've got a vinyl cutter. I use it for using the paints and items like that. It's a great idea. Great little piece. You can get them for inexpensively, like this one. The portable ones, I think you can get them like the Crickets I've seen for like $200, or you can go up to $1,000 on some of them. The one that I got was $300, 28-inch wide. Does everything that I can do. It's awesome, especially if you want to do paintings, because you can do the stencils and the logos and all that stuff, and it cuts down on time and a much more professional outcome. All right, so now we're walking a little farther down. Like I said, as we're going back, we're getting into the international area. Up front was more of the U.S. And then right over here, we got Team Babtech. And I believe these guys are from Germany. Over to our left over here. Right behind them, we have Team Down Under, which I'm guessing, as you can tell, is probably from Australia. These guys over here is Stefan and Martin. They are brothers, as you can see in the back of their shirts. And I don't think I've ever seen too many modding brother teams. So, working together. It looks like they have kind of the same idea. I saw earlier that they had some stencils laid out on vinyl, and I think they're using that the same thing. They're putting it onto the metal, or if it's I don't know if it's aluminum or steel they're using. I think most of the guys might be using aluminum. It's a little easier to work with, especially out in this area. If you wanted to bend it, you could just put it on the edge of the table, such as they're doing. You can put a straight edge across there and push down on it, and actually get a good bend out of that. Most of the tools that you do see here, there are some specialty tools that those guys brought in everywhere, but a lot of the tools have been provided. So we're coming into the next team here. And what we can see here is these guys have got something.
So we've gone with the military theme, so this is going to be an external, like a medi-pack that you carry on your back. So we're going to sort of theme this up. We're going to put these sort of containers on there that look like a first aid kit. We're going to cover it with fabric and try and make it look like it sort of blends in with the rest of the case. So I've got some flexi tubing. We haven't worked out how far apart from the case, probably about 1 meter or so, and we can have quick disconnects and we can sort of take that off and carry it separately. So just something a little bit different.
Yeah, what an awesome idea. We'll let you guys get back to work. Thanks for doing that. We're heading back a little farther towards the back. No, I think back here, back in the back, I think it's Team Kuhn. And when I first walked back here earlier, they were both kind of working on motherboards and most of the hardware stuff. I don't see too much of the case. Oh, it's in the back. Yeah, they've got it tagged up, marked up. Looks like they're doing more of the other hardware stuff besides the actual case itself. But they've got a lot of stuff going on over here. This gentleman over here, you can see he is working, I'm thinking again, that looks more like steel plate that he's working on. It's a little thinner, getting all of his measurements that he's doing up. A lot of these guys will be using basic power tools like everybody else has. As you can see, they have jigsaws, they have Dremels. I mean, it's like I said before, you don't have to have a whole factory to make a cool case, bud. You can have what you have in your toolboxes or what you have on hand, or even borrow some tools. And that's what this competition is really about. This is a lot of all hands-on stuff. I mean, they're using cordless drills and just jigsaws and Dremels and screwdrivers and stuff like that.